that note, shout out to everyone that's been spearheading the movement to try to get more eyes on this game despite its many flaws, despite the areas where it definitely needs some work. Just off the top of my head, because I don't really check in on this game like that. Traitor, I've seen his videos a lot. Silk Shot Entertainment, I've seen his videos a lot. Argan, I've seen his videos a lot. Globe Cool, Avatar Yaya, I've seen a few videos from him. Stormation. Anywho, there's a lot of you guys out there, so shout out to you for pushing this game. What's actually wrong with Bleach Rebirth of Souls? Now that's a very intriguing title because I was just talking in the community about how I had a pretty shitty experience with the game at launch and they took far too long to implement their matchmaking, like the ranked matches, and even then it's still not really up to par in my opinion. But you know, I want to see what TraitorPC, what he thinks. And he said he spoke to one of the people that worked on the game, as you'll hear in the video when I play it from the beginning.
About a month ago, I was reached out by the Bleach Rebirth of Souls community to try and save their beloved game.
Is it possible though?
I don't actually think my channel is popular.
The game isn't bad, but
on the radar of
trust and believe, I mean, they could do a lot more.
A few days later, you guys tagged me, and I actually did talk with a person that worked on the game. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to sell out my source, nor will I share anything that could get him into trouble, and I got nothing to prove that it actually happened, so whether you believe me or not is entirely up to you. I also want to point out that even if my source agrees with everything you guys are asking for, the decision is not his to make. Usually there are multiple parties involved when it comes to any type of change to a game, especially anime games. Now I did make a community post on my YouTube channel and on a couple of Discord servers where everyone could give their request, and I did ask you guys to only request general changes and explain it as easy as possible. I'm not gonna include character buffs or nerfs at all. Not because I don't think it would be pointless, but because I'm just not that good anymore in the game. I don't think I could accurately represent all the changes you guys want, and also because we have no way to test these changes. For all we know, we could completely break the game and there's no guarantee that we'll get another update. It's actually part of those people that gave feedback about the first.
When Yuobot came out, I watched a shit ton of content on him. I don't keep up with the scene, but I just see videos that look interesting to me and I tend to watch them through. This guy was broken. Some people said he was trash. They hated him. From what I saw, this character had to be the most fun, the most robust. He had the highest skill ceiling for sure.
Demon Slayer game, and Globku said it the best in his balance video.
We don't have a way to playtest this. There's a chance we might break the game more than fix it, and without a chance to playtest it, there's no going back after this happens. It's also a bit disrespectful, I think, to just say, yo, buff this dash speed, nerf this range. I think it maybe shows a lack of trust in the development team, and I don't think that's what we mean to do.
That's a valid take. And also, speaking of Hinokami Chronicles 2 for a second, I'm not a Demon Slayer fan. I've never watched the anime. But when Hinokami Chronicles 2 came out, I will tell you one thing. That game quickly became one of my favorite modern fighting games of the year. It's a really solid game, and it's funny because I don't like the modern Storm games. Like my Storm game is 2008, the original Storm. But yeah, that game pretty much is doing everything right, and I know you can't really translate that to Rebirth of Souls because they have a whole different system, but yeah.
And that's gonna be the way I'm going to do my
use that game as an example
as well. With all of that out of the way,
how to listen to the fans and give them what they want.
You guys would like to have in a future update around ranked itself.
Bro, that's the very first thing and the only thing I mentioned in this video so far.
In its current state, ranked is completely pointless.
I knew that ranked was gonna be a sore spot. I tried to pray on it like, yo, they're gonna do what they gotta do, but the tournaments, yo, shout out to Globe Cool and his people because they brought this game at least on new life when the tournament scene came around. The what was the tournament called? Ultimate Burst.
Not only does the rank you get looks unattractive due to being just plain text, but it doesn't feel satisfying.
Hold on, where even on the screen does it tell you your rank? Like with games such as Tekken, and I think even Street Fighter, you see it in the UI. There's nowhere in this screen where it tells you where your rank is. It only tells you that in the matchmaking section, which is not an incentive whatsoever to actually rank up in this game. If I can't see it while I'm streaming or broadcasting, there's absolutely no use in me putting in them hours and trying to learn the game.
It doesn't matter how many times you lose on ranked, your points will stay the same. So the
Oh, that's
only limit to
horrible.
your current rank is just how much you're willing to play the game.
It's
You
not
don't
even
get a reward for
an honest
high
ranked
rank.
mode
I'll
then.
touch on this a bit more later, but you could even reward players for getting a high rank by giving them some.
These players are truly dying for love. They're dying for the love of the game. They don't care about ranked. Okay? They're genuinely just fighting because they love Bleach, and they've been dying. It's been a drought, a famine without a quality Bleach game since, I don't know, Resurrection. I feel for you guys, and there's probably a lot of people that don't care that a lot of these systems have not been properly implemented, but come on, man. Let's be real. They had too much time, over 15 years, to really cook up a perfect fighting game.
Some sort of skin for pretty much any character. There are a bunch of fillers in the
Yo, talk about, see, this is why I love to engage with Rebirth of Souls content even while I don't play the game, because I still play a 15-year-old version of Bleach fighting, which is Heat the Soul. And in the Heat the Soul games, that's one of the things that I never would have asked for, but I appreciate the fact that they give you so many different alternate costumes and skins. You know, for the Karakura High students, they give you their school uniforms. For, you know, Uryu literally has 3 costumes. He has one that's black and gold. I don't know what that's from or whatever. And then they have like the female characters in dresses and shit. They got the male characters in suits, and I can already tell that those are from the special episodes. Bleach is like one of the leading fashion anime out there. Have you seen the magazine covers, the Shonen Jump covers and shit? Bleach is leading the charge when it comes to that. So I'm kind of baffled that they haven't implemented the drip of Bleach yet.
where the cast had an unusual outfit.
Yo, come on now. Let's really get into it. Rookie from the Aladdin episode, or you can bring Frankenstein Ichigo from the Halloween episode, or the summer outfits from the Beach Time episode, or the Console Cop episodes. You know, the Team Karakura, the red, the pink. So many inspirations from Bleach.
I've been yapping about in almost every single video I've made.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, no matter how good the game looks, and trust me, the game looks amazing. I love the colors. I love the style of it. However, there is so much that they could have done with the game. And the game is almost a year. It'll be a year old in a few months. And I don't think in terms of fan service or in terms of just features that the game is going to be much further than where it's at right now by then. I'm not hating. I'm just being objective about what I've seen from launch.
And the community is also asking for it, and that would be to speed up the game flow, because in its current state, it's still too slow.
I appreciate that the game is slower paced. However, there are so many ways in which they can hasten the gameplay and keep you kind of in the thick of things by shortening some of those ultimates, those transformations. Yeah, I think those are the best ways to do it.
Whether you reduce the timer or give us an option to skip long animations,
Yep,
just do something.
I figured as much.
Aizen will start yapping and
Yeah, Aizen, Yamamoto starts fucking yapping. He goes on a whole monologue. Do you know why I've been the fucking captain, the head captain for a millennium? It's because no other person has been strong enough to take my, like, alright bro, we get it.
I could literally go to work, come back, and he'll still be executing my character. Speaking of skipping, why is it that we still cannot skip the intros?
Yeah, I mean, that's surprising to me. I'm not gonna lie. There's some things that I look back on the Heat the Soul games and I'm like, okay, how are they able to do this shit way back when, 15 years ago, but they couldn't do it now? And then there's some things where I'll see it in Heat the Soul and I'm like, why wasn't this basic ass thing implemented in these old ass games, but they're here in the modern? I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like they put so much emphasis on the look of the package, on how they wrap the package, and then there's so many oversights. Like Bleach looked amazing from the trailers, from all the footage that we got to see, and then it came out, at least in my experience on PC, and Heat the Soul ran smoother than Rebirth of Souls, bro. And I have a pretty good PC, so
unless I'm misremembering, I'm pretty sure you can skip intros offline. I don't understand why it's still not an option online. Speaking of online, the community is asking for spectator mode, bigger lobbies, and crossplay.
They have been asking for spectator mode since like month 3. And I remember when they did one of the updates and they said, oh, we're thinking about implementing rank mode in the future. At that point in time, I thought that they were going to also consider spectator mode. Like, why is it that people have to do the PS5 party tournaments? Like, that's so lame. What about the people on PC? I know there's a Steam mode or some shit like that where you can screencast, but like, you're making us go and do a bunch of other things. It's going to make us not want to fucking play the game if it means that we have to keep resorting to these third-party tactics.
I completely understand, but the reason none of the above are possible is because of Sony.
Really?
This is not just a Rebirth of Souls specific issue, so let me try to explain it.
Okay, let's lock in. Let's listen to him.
As years have gone by, the cost of lobbies and its infrastructure became more and more expensive. So even though older games like the Storm series, My Heroes 1 Justice have a more fleshed out lobby system, it was much more cheaper back in the days. That being said, this is not the only reason. When you're maintaining these servers, that also has a cost which only becomes more and more expensive if you're increasing how many players specific lobbies can hold. If you add spectator mode, it becomes infinitely more expensive, especially if you add crossplay on top of it. You see, crossplay itself adds another layer of how hard it is to make these, but if it wasn't expensive to add the feature itself, Sony will be demanding money.
Wow. Hold the phone. Oh, wow. Czerny's eyes only. How the fuck did we get access to this? I mean, that's a PS4 logo, so that was like back in the day, yeah. Yeah, it says PS4 right there. Okay.
Based on the revenue the said game is making on every other platform. Therefore, if you don't have some sort of bullshit gacha mechanic like My Hero...
Yeah, I was about to say, shout out to the My Hero gacha game. Everyone's telling me that that game is fun to play. I haven't played it, but I saw my friend play it, and it looks like a fun time. And My Hero's All's Justice is finally coming out, so that's also hype.
Tremble does, then you cannot finance the prior mentioned lobbies, spectator, and crossplay. Publishers also have an estimation of how much money a game will make, and when you look at Rebirth of Souls, even if it had the perfect launch on PC, with its current monetization, Bandai couldn't have financed crossplay. These are not word for word what my dev source told me, but I'll put the link down in the description of the video that can explain this roadblock more thoroughly. But I do have one question.
Makes sense though.
These are true. How comes that...
Yo, bro, we're talking about a bunch of games that I used to be super duper hyped for. If I look up to the right, my peripheral vision right now, I'm looking at my Death Note that's on my fucking library, sitting right there in the front.
Has all of the prior mentioned features. I do not buy it for a second.
Oh, okay. It has spectator mode. It has all the other interesting stuff like, you know, ranks and stuff.
Death Note was nearly as successful as Rebirth of Souls. I know the Among Us hype was huge back in the days, but definitely not this huge. Okay, this was a lengthy point. Let's talk about something much more simpler. And I'm just gonna contradict myself with this one, but figure out how to fix Ishida Uryu. I'm not saying buff or nerf Ishida.
What's wrong with Ishida?
In his current state, if he tries to finish you off in his awakening, he can miss his finisher.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that during Ultimate Burst. That was grimy.
How? It's a f***ing cutscene. Nobody asked this, by the way, but this is my video, so if this made you angry, well, I'll do you one better.
Wait, Christian Nikki, is this during Ultimate Burst?
Just to piss you off.
No, Stark wasn't.
Needs easier access to his moves. The character is fun. He got a cool gimmick. And if he gets reawakening, it's GG's. You pretty much cannot lose. But to get there, you gotta sweat hard. It is impossible to do it against someone that knows how the game works. And before you dislike and close this video, this was asked by the community, and I would have normally ignored this point just to stay on topic. The community itself, that still to this day plays the game, asked for this change, so piss off. Back to the general changes, characters need more skins. I did touch on this point for a bit during...
Yes, bro, give us more fucking skins, bro. What more do we need to ask for? We're spending MSRP, even if we're getting the game on a discount. For as long as we waited, bro, give us some of the fire that Bleach has in store.
The ranked explanation, and everything that I said there applies here as well, but I'm also asking for more alternative colors as well. Like, how comes Rukia only got a yellow alternative color?
Why in the hell does Rebirth of Souls have as many skins or costumes as the game that precedes it by 15 fucking years and decades of technology? Like, not decades of history, but you get what I mean. Like, the leaps that we've made in technology and 3D modeling and shit, it's like, why?
Are we that serious? But yeah, Bandai, if you need more
Shout out Dragon Ball FighterZ
schemes, then just look at Dragon Ball FighterZ. You guys did it perfectly.
They killed those
colors.
Request.
Fighting spirit gained from dying is still way too high, and the game favors losing. I've said this many times in my videos, but it is just not fun to play for losing. This is actually the main reason why I stopped playing Bleach. I actually don't mind the other problems nearly as...
That was on purpose, or was that an accident, him calling the game Bleach? You said, oh, that's mainly the reason why I stopped playing Bleach. It's like how Argan calls Ichigo Bleach all the time, but I guess in this case, no, it is just Bleach, but most people just say Rebirth of Souls.
Stop playing Bleach. I actually don't mind the other problems nearly as much as this one. I could watch an Aizen cutscene for 5 hours if needed, but it is just not fun to lose after clearly being the better player. Now, I'm not saying that to reward the Ooga Booga gameplay mentality and to leave no comeback potential.
Ooga Booga, that's
but in
a funny
the game's
word.
current state, everyone will be playing optimally. And to play optimally, you kinda have to start losing. This is simply human nature. If you have the slightest idea of how something works, you are not going to actively punish yourself by playing to lose. You will try to win. And to win, you gotta lose. I actually had 2 different type of people try Bleach.
That's pretty funny.
That I know personally, and my test perfectly captures why this change is needed. One group of people were the ones that just came over to my place and were curious to play the new Bleach game about half a year ago. They had the time of their life, but I didn't give them
I want to hear what the
time to
experience
figure out
is.
the buttons. I didn't explain why you gotta kill someone multiple times. They just sent it raw. They played it and loved it. The other test was with my friend when I was in Japan for 2 weeks. He was quite curious
Shout
how
out
the
Japan.
game works and wanted me to make him understand what everything means in this game. And while he did prefer this game over any of the other current arena fighters out on the market, he did point out that it's kinda lame that you gotta play to lose. So yeah, Bandai, please make it less punishing to actually play the game. Those were the general changes for Bleach Rebirth of Souls the community is asking for. I'm sure I missed some, and knowing the community, you guys definitely want to voice your character specific
Are we at the
changes
end?
as well. So make sure to comment
That was a good
down
video
below
though.
what else you want to get changed for Rebirth of Souls. But if you do that, you gotta like the video and subscribe to the channel.
I got you, bro. I'm gonna like the video.
The other day I played in the local Demon Slayer tournament and actually won. It was a fun little event. Go ahead and check that one out. Hope you guys are gonna have a fantastic day. Stay safe. And until next time, boys.